Uh, Dear colleagues, dear CEO of Rwanda Stock Exchange, Pierre Celestin. Hi everyone, community leaders around United States of America. Ariko ndabona turi kumwe also with other Rwandans living abroad. I see some from Europe and Africa. So turishimye, we are here on this presentation of an awareness or an information session of how to get opportunities on savings and on capital market, Rwanda's capital market authority. So we're going to have a great presentation. But before that, I would like kubabwira, I don't know if we're going to talk in English or in Kinyarwanda, so but we can mix. Please feel free to address any comments muri language mwumva mwifuza nta kibazo. So my name is Sandrine Wimbabazi Maziateke. I'm the director of Rwanda Community Abroad at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. And as I said before, so today we are here, we're having a virtual webinar with our Rwandans living abroad. Thank you very much, Excellency Honorable Ambassador, to have facilitated this with the team at the embassy and also community leaders kugira ngo dushobore kugira ikiganiro cyiza. So as you are aware, the Rwandan community living abroad is an important constituency to the country. So there is, according to the Rwandan foreign policy, Rwandans living abroad, they play a key role as a catalyst in bringing innovation, skills and knowledge, trade, investment, and so many things. So this is part of the National Strategy for Transformation and also as well as the Vision 2050. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation is at the forefront of doing partnerships with different institutions in Rwanda and also abroad, also to connect with our Rwandans living abroad to show them how to continuously show them the opportunities that they can have. So we have we are we appreciate so much the contribution that had been made with the Rwandan community living abroad, living in the United States. You guys have been contributed a lot in philanthropy, in other domains, in skills and knowledge. Turabibashimira cyane uburyo mwitanga. Even today is a Sunday, ariko mwavuze muti let us just connect and hear again what is niki u Rwanda rudufitiye. So that's the reason why turi hano kandi tukaba dushima cyane our key stakeholder barategura ikiganiro cy'uyu munsi. Turi kumwe na CEO of Rwanda Stock Exchange, Mr. Pierre Celestin Rwabukumba. Turabasuhuje. Yes, hi. Yes, turi kumwe kandi muri Capital Market Authority na Noella Murigo. She's the head of market supervision and inspectors. Hi, Noella. Namutkumva. Yes, turi kumwe kandi na Mr. Ruziga Emmanuel Masantura. He is the sales manager at Rwanda National Investment Trust. Hi, Emmanuel. N'abandi hi n'abandi badukurikiye turongeye turashuje ariko without further ado we would like to give the floor to Honorable Excellency Ambassador Mathilde Mukantabana, the ambassador of Rwanda based in Washington DC, so in the USA, to deliver the opening remarks. Thank you.
Murakoze cyane, mwaramutse mwese. Ndanezerewe cyane kubona abi Rwanda. Reka ntangire mbanze ngushimire Sandrine kuko iteka ugerageza kuzana ibintu byo kwegeranya community zacu n'u Rwanda uko bishoboye kose. Ibi rero bikaba ari ibintu bikomeye cyane kuko usibye n'ibindi dukorana ariko nk'ibi bya capital market ni ibintu bikomeye cyane, kandi nzi neza ko communities zo muri United States bashaka nabo kwegeranya nabyo kugira nabo bakure mu byo barimo bakora ariko banafasha n'igihugu cyabo. Nkaba rero nezerewe cyane kandi nkaba welcominga mwese mwaje kutuganiriza. Twese tugiye kubigiraho, singiye gufata umwanya munini cyane, ariko icyo navuga gusa nuko mwese mugira ikaze nini cyane. Abantu bose nzi ko babishaka cyane, babifitiye inyota, ariko nkaba nshimira na community zacu nyine nk'uko bivuze, kuko ubu ni ku cyumweru abantu benshi bamwe baba bagiye mu misa, abandi bagize gute, ariko babonaga ko iki ari ikintu gikomeye bagomba kwitabira. Murakoze cyane rero, kandi nizere ko ibiganiro biza kugenda neza twese tukabyigiraho.
Murakoze cyane Ambassador ku ijambo ryiza muduhaye. So tudatinze reka mureke twakire Monsieur Pierre Celestin Rwabukamba to deliver his remarks, the CEO of Rwanda Stock Exchange. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandrine. Honorable Ambassador, murakoze ku ijambo mutegerejeho no kuduha ikaze. I think turagerageza kuvanga indimi mugani. There are some people who don't understand, or you want us to speak English only or Kinyarwanda. I don't know what the modus operandi is here, but we are ready to speak in any. Niba hari abatumva Ikinyarwanda ubwo twavuga mu Cyongereza. Yeah. Okay, so that's a yes to English, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, sure. Very good. Yes. Thank you again. My name is Pierre Celestin Wabukumba. I've just been introduced. I'm here today with my colleagues in the industry. I'm the CEO of Rwanda Stock Exchange, which is our main market in Rwanda. That's the only stock exchange actually in the country. And I'm with my colleagues from the Capital Market Authority and Noela and Mr. Masantura, who is also at the Rwanda National Investment Trust. So you can hear on all those institutions. We have the stock exchange, but we have the Capital Market Authority, which is our regulator, which regulates the market in Rwanda. So I don't know if you know much about the regulations in Rwanda. Our financial sector is regulated by two institutions. The first one is the central bank, the same way we have it in America. The central bank is the one that regulates the entire financial sector except the capital market industry. There is a good reason to that. And there is a history to that led to this happening like that. Then Aranite is also another institution. They will talk a little bit about it in our conversation. We don't want this to be a formal presentation as such. We want this to be a conversation. Of course, we have prepared, we have a standard presentation we have. We prepare for, talking to people. My colleague, I think Magnifique is around, is going to be projecting that shortly, but we'll be more, talking than presenting, giving you slides that, like we say in Rwanda, we just want to talk and discuss. I'm sure some of you live in New York City, others live in some other states where you have markets which are even more advanced than ours. So that means that the audience we are talking to today is an audience which is well learned about the capital market in general. I don't expect everyone to know everything, but we want to bring it back to the context of Rwanda today. So I hope I have made myself clear. So without taking too much of time, basically I just wanted to say the reason why we are here. First of all, I want to thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Capital Market Authority and the communities abroad and the embassy in Washington, D.C. for having organized this. The first time we talked to diaspora people in North America or elsewhere, but it's always good to compare notes and see where things are, because we are all in it for our country, first and foremost, and ourselves second. So, this market of ours, we keep talking about the capital markets in general. The reason of setting up this market has been very simple, and it's still the same. It has not changed. This market of ours has been created basically to help raise long-term financing for the economy. That means for the government, the private sector, and the entire economy, basically raising funding for the economy. That's one. Second is to foster good savings culture into the population. you know, because when people come to the capital markets, they buy securities, which you are probably most of you are aware of, securities to save through them. You buy shares and bonds and other products that come to the market. And the third thing is, and I always like to say the most important one, it's good corporate governance. As you know, igihugu cyacu kiyobowe neza, ibyo nta dufiteho twese turakyemeranya. Kiyobowe neza, mainly government side. You know, the government is very well organized, and it's the corporate governance is there. But you know, in our private sector, we kept having issues. We still have some issues caused by ignorance, sometimes caused by people not knowing, or just people just resisting, and so on. But that's basically one of the reasons that the market was created, to help companies to come up with good corporate governance culture and accountability in everything we do. So those are the three things that the market was created. The market was created for. So we were created around. We started the operations as an industry in 2008. The stock exchange. We started under one roof, the Capital Market Authority, what we call. It used to be called Capital Market Advisory Council, which is the whole. It was a council which was supposed to develop the market and put it to work, and a market operator at the same time. So we were running an OTC market, for those of you who know. That's what we call marché hors cote. It's a market which is it's organized, of course, but now eventually around 2011 we started full operations of a separate stock exchange, which is what we call today Rwanda Stock Exchange, and there is a full regulator to regulate the capital market industry. So that's the CMA. So the CMA is there as the apex institution, which looks after the industry in general. And then we have a stock exchange, we have a commodities exchange, we have so many intermediaries, about 29 intermediaries which are in the country, which are doing different, you see the slide there on the screen, which are doing different businesses. We have custodians, we have investment banks, we have stock brokers who would help you invest if you want to start operating, if you want to start opening an account, if you want to be bringing your company to the market, because there are so many things happening in the country and in the industry in general, and so on. That is basically the structure of the market in general. So we have all those. Like I said, it's only the capital market industry which is regulated by, not regulated by the central bank, because the other financial sector companies or institutions or businesses are regulated by the central bank. The capital market was set aside so that it can develop. It was around 2006, I believe, that the government deliberately decided to create all the institutions to be regulated by central banks, even non-bank financial institutions, which were barely not regulated before, outside of the banking sector. So it was to give the impetus to the capital market to emerge, because the inshingano yari zifite zari zikomeye nyine kugira ngo we managed to develop as much as fast as possible, because the development agenda was very ambitious to fund long-term investments and the ambition the country had. So that's how we ended up here. But today, if I may say, we have different products in the market. We have the different companies. We have 10 companies listed on the stock exchange. And we have also a bunch of fixed income products that have been put in market, including the government bonds, which makes a big bulk of what we have as instruments in the market. And we are also developing other small instruments that are going to be coming to the market. Talking of, I know some of you are in real estate. We are familiar, for example, with the real estate investment trusts, whereby these products they come in to help people who want to invest in real estate collectively. You know, people buy units in those instruments, or those projects, instead of owning an entire village, you own a piece of that village through a unit. Like it's like a share. It works like a share or equities. So those are there, and we are also looking into sustainability kind of products, green products, and so on. Those are things that are emerging across the globe. But the main ones we have so far is stocks, what we call shares or equities, and fixed income, that is bonds, government bonds, and private or corporate bonds, which are issued by different institutions. Corporate companies can also issue bonds, and this market of ours has also been able to mobilize that. So in a nutshell, the market has been developing over the years. Of course, we are not where we want. We want to even move faster, but we've been moving slowly at the pace where the economy has been moving into. And of course, when we compare to our counterparts in the region, or even beyond on the continent, we are still more or less at par in terms of coming up with new companies to list and so on, because we have different issues in our economies nowadays, but we are remaining the course in what the market was created for, which was to raise long-term finance for the economy. So far, and then promoting more saving through different instruments, so that we approach the small investors out there, retail investors, institutional investors, and so on, but with the focus on retail investors to also come to the market to make sure that we own our economy and people save. Because if you know one thing is that one of the main issues we have as a country is savings. Savings levels in Rwanda today, they are no more than 13% of GDP. I'm not even sure if we are 30 right now. And yet, if you are to really remain the course and develop the way we want it, our country, we need to at least be at 30%. So you see, in the so capital market is one of the ways that can help the people to develop, to own shares in their own country, in their own economy, that way. So simple as that. The rest is governance and so on, and people have been coming. So far, the market, we've been able to raise around close to $2 billion as I'm talking. Some few $100 million have been raised through equities, companies that have raised money through the market to fund their activities through equities, people buying shares, and another 1.5 plus has gone into the fixed income, and we keep going. I can give you a simple example. Between, I would say, the hard times of COVID, everyone was hard up, and the market domestically, talking about domestic resource mobilization, we were able to raise as a marketplace through fixed income mainly. Of course, we had a few listings also of companies, but the main bulk was on the fundraising in the market here. So we were able to raise close to $1 billion in between 2020, 2011, 2022, and we keep going. So I think the domestically, that money was raised domestically in the market here. Of course, there are some people from the diaspora, a few investors from outside, but it gets absorbed internally, and the returns are not bad. And how people participate is very simple. It's the same way you open an account in America, where you get a stockbroker or an intermediary or a bank to open an investment account. All you need is your identification and a photo ID, and the rest is just forms you fill. And within 15 minutes, you can be able to open an investment account and start investing in the market. Of course, the rest depends on how much you want to invest. If the shares, the smallest, the cheapest share price here is about $4.5, around $4.5. You can buy 100 shares of one of our companies in the market. But if you go up to buying the government bonds or any other bonds, the government bonds cost around maybe $100, one of them, and multiples of 100. So the rest is just you get through by getting advice from the intermediaries who give you proper advice you may need, and you keep going. So I'm not going to keep going because I would like, probably we felt that it's good to even interact with you to get more feedback from you on what to expect and how we can participate in this conversation. We hope to get more from you on how you can start investing in our market, participating in the development of the country, but also it's lucrative. I have my regulator in the room. I don't want to say it's very, very lucrative, but I would say there are good investment opportunities. I cannot name any of them as such because you need proper KYC and proper advisory if you are talking to people. And what I wanted to say is that it's good to be investing in our country. It's one of the faster developing and growing economies within our region, actually even the rest of Africa, and we can see stability around here. The rest we keep discussing. And at this junction, I wanted to invite my colleague Noela to also chip in, and my other colleague will talk later, and then we receive comments, questions, and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Celestin, for this great presentation. As you just mentioned, you invited Noela. I didn't want to cut you off. So, Noela, if you can hear us, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandrine, and thank you very much, Celestin. And thank you very much for everyone for making time to attend this exchange. As I said, I'm from the regulator. I'm from the Capital Market Authority, the regulator that is responsible for the oversight of the market. So with us, your investments are safe. That's what I can say. Our mission is to protect investors. So our role in investor protection, of course, there are responsibilities that goes with that and powers that goes with that. And among those powers, CMA is responsible for licensing service providers. And I think we have on this call one of the service providers that has been licensed with us. The reason why we license them is because we need to know them. We need to put in place safeguards for the investors. Safeguards in in terms of knowing who is operating in the market. Is the person who is operating in the market fit and proper? And when we evaluate the fitness and properness of the people operating in the market, what we look at is, are they honest people? Are they we assess their integrity. Of course, there are many things that can evidence that. We evaluate, we assess their capabilities in terms of experience in order to ensure that your investments are safe. The capabilities in terms of experience, are they conversant with what the capital market? Are they conversant with the product, the financial instrument that they are providing, they are offering to the public, to the investing public? And the third thing we assess is their capabilities in terms of financial soundness, in terms of capital, so that to ensure that the investment are safe. So they should have the capabilities to, in terms of financial soundness, to run the business purpose to offer to carry out in the market. Apart from licensing, of course, we regulate. In regulating, we put in place the regulations. Those goes with the conduct, how they conduct themselves in the market. how they interact with their clients, how they offer their services, how they treat the money they have, in terms of, let's say, for example, how the money or assets of the client is kept with the custodian, with the other service providers that are also licensed, and other principles around the capital market. All those principles are just meant to uh, to to promote a sound and conducive environment to investors, both investors, but also the service
Excuse me,
providers.
Noela, could you kindly get close to your microphone because people are saying that they cannot hear you very well. Sorry, thank you.
Oh, sorry for that.
Yeah,
Can
thank you.
you hear me now? Is that
Well,
okay?
I mean, I can hear you. I don't know for others, but I can hear you well. Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Then I was talking about how we license them and how we regulate them with the objective of creating a conducive environment and a trust, a confident, to create a transparent and fair and orderly market. So the other way we protect investors is in terms of supervision. So we license, we regulate, and then we supervise those who have now have been granted their license, how they conduct themselves now with vis-a-vis the investors. So this is done through supervision, and within supervision, there are some obligations that they have to fulfill with us. They have to report to us. We need to see what they're reporting to clients. We need to check on them. We need to check on their status on a regular basis. And we need, of course, to have a communication, continuous communication between the management of the authority and the management of those businesses. So basically, that's what the the CMA is responsible for, and of course, it has also the powers to enforce. And when we talk about enforcement, is when they are not, maybe they have contravened with the laws and regulations of set by the CMA. Yeah, without taking much time, let me invite now my colleague. The floor is yours, Sandrine. I think in more or less, that's what we do as CMA. Maybe something else before I give the floor to Sandrine again. CMA is again responsible to approve now the products that are set to come to the market. So we approve, let's say, for example, R9, if it has put in place a fund that is called Iterambere Fund. Of course, my colleague will be able to talk about it. But before it goes to the market, we have to approve it. So they file the application with us. The shares that are on the market are also that are so far on the market have been approved. The bonds, corporate bonds, have been approved, and that is one of the responsibilities. And what we do around that is to check whether the investors are given appropriate information for any product that comes to the market, for them to take a decision that is based on the fact, on the disclosures that are required, that we require all the applicants to provide, so that it is an informed decision, if I may say. Yeah. That is another one of the responsibilities of CMA. And of course, we receive complaints. it's another responsibility. Investors from all over the world, or from, because this is an open market, we have investors from all over the world. They may not have the sufficient information, or they might maybe think maybe they have not treated, the treatment that they have received was not appropriate, or they have received, maybe they were not satisfied with the resolution of the complaint that they have given to other authorities, to their service providers. We handle that too, in order to preserve the confidence in our market. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sandrine. We are
Thank
here.
you very
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Noella, for giving us an overview and informative session on the Capital Market Authority, what you do. But as you just mentioned, so we are also with Emmanuel from RNIT Terambere Fund. If you can hear us, Emmanuel, the floor is yours for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandrine. And I don't know if I say good morning or good evening, because we are in different states, different countries. But I think for those in US, I greet you and my colleagues here in Rwanda, Mwiriwe neza. So I'm Emmanuel, as they said, from Rwanda National Investment Trust. And I'll try to be very brief, talking about the RNIT, Rwanda National Investment Trust, and RNIT Terambere Fund, because most of the procedures have already been mentioned by Mr. Celestin and my previous colleague. So Rwanda National Investment Trust was created by the government of Rwanda through Minecofin to promote saving culture among Rwandans by designing products that suit the various investment needs of people, and develop also the capital market, but because we are under the CMA, as you've heard. So we created the first fund called Rwanda National Investment Trust, Iterambere Fund, or RNIT Iterambere Fund, which is a unit trust that pools money together from many investors and empowers them to get market-linked returns directly through a guided approach of the fund manager, which is Rwanda National Investment Trust. So RNIT Iterambere Fund is an open-ended balanced fund that caters for the wealth creation aspirations of Rwandans. Through the fund, unit holders participate in the capital market, you see, and the return from the investment assets are fully passed on the unit holders through the fees which are provided to them. It is an opportunity to participate in the growth of Rwanda through the units of RNIT Iterambere Fund. If I just give you a simple explanation to you how we work, you see, RNIT Iterambere Fund is a form of unit trust generally, which gives you the average returns from the unit with which you buy from the RNIT Iterambere Fund, very favorable with returns from respective benchmark indices. Unit trusts have also proved themselves as an excellent way of hedging inflation. So we basically give interest to the investors through compounding effect. The longer you leave your money invested in the RNIT Iterambere Fund, the greater the opportunity of compounding as the money is put to use to earn more money. And we invest normally in bond up to today, though we are allowed to invest from 70 to 100% in fixed income investment and 30% in listed equities. But up to now, we are investing in fixed income investment, which is the government bonds. So the Aronet Tambe Fund has a separate legal existence and is perpetual. And when it comes to taxes, as per current tax laws, income and capital gains of unit trusts is exempt from income tax. So you may ask how you can invest in Aronet Tambe Fund. There are two ways in which you can invest. You can either invest a lump sum amount as per your convenience by depositing or transferring your cash to our bank accounts through electronic facilities. And if you can see on the presentation there, we have the numbers have changed. I think it's Magnifique who is presenting, giving out the presentation. Magnifique, the asset under management in 2022 December was 28.01 billion Rwandan francs from 18.31 billion Rwandan francs in December 2021. So that presentation, I don't know. Okay, is it Magnifique? Are you following this? And Magnifique? Okay. No, we are not going to follow all that presentation though. So I was just updating you so that those numbers are expired. We have new numbers for 2020 up to end 2022. So eligible investors, the Rwanda National Investment Trust is the Iterambere Fund is open for investment to Rwandans in Rwanda and those ones in diaspora, as well as the East African community nationals and international investors within the permissible legal framework of Rwanda. So the minimum investment so far is Rwandan francs 2,000. So 2,000 Rwandan francs. This is almost equal to less than $2. $2 US dollars. Mr. Kagarama, your microphone is on, please.
Okay.
Alois as well. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so the return is reflected by changes in the value of the unit purchased. The value of the unit depends on the net asset value or NAV, and it is calculated on a daily basis, and it is published on the Rwanda National Investment Trust website, which is www.rnit.rw. And what else? How you can get your money. We do the repurchase of your units when you want your money, though we encourage you to keep that money for long in the Rwanda National Investment Trust, Iterambere Fund. But you need, if you want the money, you need to fill up a repurchase form for the purpose. The repurchase form is found on our website for those who are abroad. And since it is the fund itself that is buying back units on the weekly basis, every Thursday we close the reception of the repurchase forms and the process unit evaluation with applicable NAV of next business day. So you need not to you don't need to wait for March. If you have any problem and you think the money that you saved in Rwanda National Investment Trust, Iterambere Fund, you can come for it you can ask for that money, though we encourage you to keep it long in the fund. So I don't know if I've not. I think I need to give you most of the time so that we do this conversation together. I mean, it should be not just the presentation, but if you also want to know about how we are governed, there is a trustee, 7-member board forms the trustee who represent unit holders through supervision and monitoring of regulatory compliance. And then we have the investment manager, which is the Rwanda National Investment Trust Limited as an investment manager. It's a purely government-owned company, registered 100% by the government of Rwanda. And then we have the custodian. The custodian is the National Bank of Rwanda, who keeps the scheme, the asset of the scheme in the custody. And then we are audited by the Auditor General, the Rwandan, the Auditor General of the Rwanda. And then we have external auditor who is licensed. Today we are audited by PwC. And we have, I think, finalizing here, we have an annual general meeting, which is expected on 31st this March. It's next Friday, and we're going to be having online presentation as well, so that you can participate from anywhere you are. So annual general meeting is convened after every financial year. During the meeting, the fund present the annual report of the fund, and also the unit holders deliberate on the number of issues. All unit holders in RNH Tambe Fund are invited in the annual general meeting of this year, which is expected on 31st March 2023. This the coming Friday. So let me end. Let me stop here. So we will be also waiting for questions and contributions from different participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel from RNIT Terambere Fund, for this great presentation you just gave us. Maybe I will also ask if you can also, those who presented, put some links, important links of those information in the chat box. Yeah. So let us go to the next session, which is a Q&A session. As CEO Celestin Yabivuze, this is a conversation. So our presenters here are ready to hear your thoughts. Kindly share the context y'ibihugu murimo, ya state murimo, and also biranashoboka ko, let me try to use also Kinyarwanda language, ko hari na terme zakoreshejwe ziriwe more technique za finance, abantu bose ntabwo bari muri financial sector, ariko during the Q&A session niba hari icyo mutumvishe neza cyangwa mwifuza ko bakongera kubasobanurira, abenshi muri hano turabizi ko mwaje kugira ngo mwumve uburyo mwashobora gushora imari. So icyiza nuko turi kumwe abayobozi bo muri iyi domaine, baraza kudusobanurira how you can do. Feel free. Let's start with maybe with the three, tugende dukora ibibazo bitatu. Okay, let's say 5. Pierre Celestin, how do you feel comfortable? 3 or 4 or 5? And then Muki presenta.
We are good.
Yes.
Any?
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Any? Okay, good. Thank you. Muki presenta state mubamo, and then icyo mukora wenda niba nabyo bishoboka nta kibazo, and then tugakomeza. So ndabona Regis Nisingwe. Yes, the floor is yours.
Very
Thank you.
volume down.
Muranyumva neza?
Yego turabumva.
Okay, nitwa Regis. Ni muri state ya North Carolina. Nkora muri imwe muri banki za hano muri Amerika. Murakoze cyane ko iki kiganiro nabibonye kuri LinkedIn, nifuza nanjye kujoininga. Bakoze cyane bakoze presentation. Ikibazo mfite ndakibaza Celestin. Tuvuge ko umuntu uba muri diaspora ye yose ashaka gutangira investinga muri stock exchange, uburyo bworoshye bwo kubikora, donc buhari bworohereza abantu batari mu Rwanda ni ubuhe? Se hariya bari application ya telefone cyangwa se site web cyangwa se ubundi buryo bwose, cyangwa se bisaba kuza mu Rwanda? Donc umuntu yabikora gute ashaka kuinvestinga mu magambo make ari hanze y'u Rwanda?
Murakoze. Regis from North Carolina. Undi, another person. Okay,
Mwiriwe.
ndabona. Yes, mwiriwe.
Anyway, good afternoon. My name is Lillian. Sorry, it shows up as Kiza, but it's called Lillian. Thank you for having us. I know some of you, Celestin, anyway, and Ambassador. I hope all is well. I have a question. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm a licensed registered broker and advisor, so in the money industry, or Fidelity Investments, but also I'm a business owner. Nashaka Kwanza, one, how we can help, if you had something in mind specifically, so we can help. The second question I had is, since you mentioned a few times this money industry, if you've thought about implementing concepts of America 401ks, where in addition to the regular pension, media RCSB Murubanda, companies can help people save a portion of their paycheck, like a money stock market, in order to stimulate the market, but at the same time help raise the capital that you were talking about. So even as I would take it, is that especially with CMA to implement? And I know Celeste was in New York, so it's probably familiar with it.
Murakoze Lilian from Florida. Another person, John Kalisa. Okay. Emmanuel Mouvni. Yes. Yes, Emmanuel, the floor is yours. Mwasabye ijambo. Thank you.
Urakoze Sandrine, ngira ngo ntabwo ari ikibazo, ni igitekerezo. Ngira ngo tujya tugira izi informative sessions zitandukanye in terms of investments, ariko gap umaze kubonamo nuko follow-ups ntabwo ngira ngo zigera ntabwo ziri decentralize muri za RCS aho turi. Umva igitekerezo ko mu mikoranire na embassy mwajya mutekereza no kugira ngo ibiganiro nk'ibi mugire individual sessions z'ama RCS aho abantu batuye, mwumva ibitekerezo by'abaturage, kuko hano abantu baba bari bize, umuntu kuri RCS ashobora kuza akabyumva, ariko hajya kubisobanura ntabisobanura nk'uko ngira ngo ababishinzwe babikora. Mwumva hagize uburyo bwo kwegera abaturage mu kumva ibibazo, mukamara n'izo mpungenge. Ngira ngo ubushake bwo burahari, abantu benshi barabufite, ariko amakuru ntabwo ahagije. Umva cyaba ari igitekerezo, niyo gap umaze kubona iri muri community zacu. Bigize uko hari strategy yabaho, byadufasha twese. Murakoze.
Murakoze Emmanuel. Ikibazo cyanyu n'igitekerezo turacyufashe, turacyumvishe. Hari Albert namwe mwasabye ijambo mbere yuko.
Murakoze, turashimira abaduhaye ikiganiro. Nitwa Herbert, ndi muri Atlanta. Nshimire cyane kuba mwateguye iki kiganiro, kuko twe abenshi ni bwa mbere tukibayemo. So thank you so much. Mfite ikibazo kimwe, ahari yenda natanga n'igitekerezo in the piggyback ya Muvunyi ku gitekerezo yaratanze, ibintu bijya gusa nicyo natekerezaga nanjye. Kuri presentation yakozwe na Emmanuel, hari ahantu yavuze iyo umuntu ashatse donc kubijyanye na liquidation ya asset, umuntu aramutse ashyizemo imigabane cyangwa guza imigabane bigeze ku gihe cya liquidation, ashaka kugurisha, yavuze ikintu cyitwa repurchase form abantu buzuza. Noneho avuga ko harimo ngire ngo umuntu yuzuzaho na purpose, noneho bituma ntekereza se hari wenda purpose zemewe cyangwa se bishobora gusubizwa inyuma bitewe n'impamvu runaka, nubwo bakangurira abantu cyane kuba babimazemo iminsi. Ariko iyo icyo gihe kigeze, se at any point in time and one wants to liquidate the asset, hari purpose ziri valid, hari zitari valid, cyangwa se actually to be honest, even how long usually would it take for one to liquidate the asset. Yenda muri iyo sense n'igitekerezo nari natekereje ko Muvunyi akivuzeho, hano mu ma RCA dukorana dufashwa na embassy iradufasha cyane mu bintu byinshi bikatworohera, wenda byaba nka progression eventually bikaba byaba decentralize kurushaho no mu ma RCA individually, ariko for the start for now je natekerezaga ntiyenda dufite nka link kuri website ya embassy nka central point dufite hano on this end, nkuko tujya kuri embassy kenshi kuri website yayo for some information, yenda twabona some kind of a gateway through the Rwandan embassy kubona more information about the CMA, cyangwa se no kuba twakwinvestinga nkuko Regis igeze kubaza. I think that could be a starting point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Albert. Tugize n'ikindi kibazo from Greg, who is driving. What are the maturity days for those bonds? Okay, dusubire ku ba presenters bacu, badusubirize ibibazo uko ari bitanu, icya kane wenda natwe kiratureba muri ministry. So Pierre Celestin, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sanjin. Numva ikibazo cya mbere cyaturutse kwa Regis, umuntu ari hanze y'u Rwanda ngo yashobora kuba yatangira gushora imari mu Rwanda gute, uburyo buhari ni ubuhe, applications and so on. I would say that so far there are some intermediaries barimo gukora kuri applications. You remember you ushaka investinga muri stock market, even if you do it online, there is some licensed member who's doing it. Nubwo bikora ubwawe, there is someone it goes through, a licensed member ugufasha gutangira investinga, even if you are doing it on yourself. Some intermediaries are working on that, but even now as we speak, ntabwo ukenera kuza mu Rwanda kugira ngo utangire gushora. You don't have to come to Rwanda necessarily. We have the list of our intermediaries on our websites. The list is long. The CMA, even the stock exchange, we have them. And I'm sure Magnifico will even share with the right information where you can pass through for investment. Even for Aranite, same goes. You don't need to be in Kigali to be an investor in Iterambere Fund, which is the first fund they have now. Nicyo ya mbere bafite. Mu by'ukuri icyo ukenera ni ukumenya contact and choose your intermediary, mu broker wawe ushobora kugufasha cyangwa banki yawe yagufasha mu byo wifuza gufungura investment account. Ibisigaye they walk you through what you need to do. Of course, you know, nkuko bimeze kuri isi yose muzi ko hari ibintu byateye byitwa ngo anti-money laundering laws, regulations na terrorism finance. Ibyitwa KYC birakorwa, noneho na za formulaire zishaka kumenya uburiwe koko mu buryo bwimbitse nabyo birakorwa, ariko all that does not take long. So the rest becomes on how you transfer your money to start investing and the kind of advice you get from your intermediaries. So ibyo ngibyo nibyo turimo. We are also working on our full automation of the market, and there will be also different applications in the near future. Hopefully before end of this year, we could have some applications to assist people, USSD codes, ariko cyane cyane bihera ku bari mu gihugu ngira ngo abari hanze. There will be other ways. We are also looking at how we can support that, but mostly it's through our intermediaries, very licensed, the full list of them, bari kuri izo websites zacu. Ikibazo cya kabiri goes, it's that one from Lillian Bakira, Florida, how you can help. You know, you especially professionals who are in the industry, definitely one of the ways to help, I believe, is to link up with our operators, because since you are a licensed individual, you have a business in America, and of course I know Lillian, she's one of the veterans I know on Wall Street for a long time. I think the first point of call is to start looking at some people in the diaspora or elsewhere who may want to be looking to invest back home. That's one. Second is to also be an ambassador, to be an ambassador for our market and the products that we sell in these markets of ours. Kuko yurebye returns are not bad, especially if you are a diaspora member. You definitely at one point you will have to go back home. I'm sure you need to spend or even invest. People still invest in back home in Rwanda or in Africa in general. Ariko ikirimo nikigaragara nuko the returns, the country, the companies, everything that we are doing is growing. Of course, there are concerns. There are concerns that inflation is everywhere. That one you cannot now wayihungira. Isi yose irahari muri iyi minsi because of the obvious. Ntabwo tubitindaho. Of course, there's currency issues abantu are mentioning, especially ikibazo dukunda guhura nacyo n'abantu bari muri diaspora cyane cyane bavuga issues za currency. Iyo nayo ntaho twapfa kuyihungira, but also the returns are higher than where we are typically used to. For people who want to invest for long term. So this again is a market, it's a game for long term. It's not a market for speculation mainly. So ikigaragara nuko in our markets ziri speculative uko muri culture y'abanyarwanda na economy niba mwaranabibonye kugeza uyu munsi ni economy growing steadily, slowly. You know, today's per capita income niyo indicator mu za mbere. Mu Rwanda, almost we are at $1,000 per capita income from 200 almost 20 years ago. So that shows you the picture. Nicho bigaragaza yuko igihugu gitera imbere kigira gute. So then the businesses which are operating around there, they are also invested in this same economy. So ibyo ntekereza ko I think hanini mu gufasha gukomeye cyane ibyo kuba ambassador, kuba mwadufasha aba professionals who are there to maybe even think about creating products like a fund of some kind to be, you know, pitching to people outside there to come to invest in different products we have on the market. Now businesses do fit as it's really growth businesses, even the fixed income products do fit. On the 401k, hari nkuko mumenyere muri America nyine hari 401k. We have a similar product here which we created for abanyagihugu kugira ngo ni kitwa ejo heza. Ejo heza, it's a complementary insurance scheme. Really, it was created specifically for otherwise non-pensionable individuals, retailers or abantu bari muri informal sector mainly, but it's not exclusive to the abantu badasanga mu pension n'abandi bose babyifuza n'abifite nabo bashobora gushyiramo amafaranga. It's managed under the RSSB also. But there's also other different schemes that are as helping out, like RN8, for example, iterambere fund, n'izindi barimo gukora bashaka creating mu minsi iri imbere, and also Aguka fund from Bank of Kigali. There are many others that are being thought about as schemes where people abantu bashobora gushyiramo amafaranga nyine bakurikije uko bifite, ariko igikomeye cyane professionals, niyo tari professional as an individual living outside of the country. Definitely, this is a growing region, and it's a growing country. And the companies we have here so far listed, they are all blue chip companies. And the fixed income instruments dufite ku isoko uyu munsi zaba ari za bonds za leta cyangwa z'abikora ku giti cyabo, they are all giving a good return. They are giving a return no less than 10% at least. The minimum you can have 10.5% if you just invest and leave it. And the risk is very minimal in those. Kandi umutekano ngira ngo urizewe mu kuntu amafaranga y'abantu abungabungwa. So in a nutshell, I think that's what I could say on what Lillian has said. Decentralized on RCAs, I think that one will go to Sandrine herself. Ikindi numvise ni cyerekeranye na maturity of the bonds dufite ku isoko. If there are bonds, okay, shares those ziba ziriho igihe cyose for life, as long as the company is listed or is in existence. But for the bonds, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can
Sure,
hear you.
sure. So I was seeing some funny thing on my screen. I thought you were not hearing me. So at the maturity of our bonds, they vary between zihera kuri 3 years so far, imyaka itatu, imyaka itanu, 7, 10, 15 na 20. So our bonds go all the way to 20 years, and the way they remunerate umuntu agenda yinvestingamo, it depends. Uko zigenda mu myaka, you get more interest income from them. And like Masantura said, we have different incentives for that. You save 10% through investing in bonds or shares. Your dividend income, you normally typically pay 15% in your dividend income. But if this company is listed, you pay only 5% withholding tax. So you're saving up to 10% in interest. Na interest income yo waguze bonds za leta cyangwa n'abikora ziri ku isoko, you also save 10% withholding income. So zigenderaho kugera kuri 20 years, depending on which one you buy. And ibibazo ngira ngo ngomba gusubizaho byari ibyo ngibyo. On the web sites, we maybe I leave it to Sandrine or my other colleagues to respond to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Celestin, for your feedback. Yes, natwe kuri kiriya kibazo cyangwa igitekerezo Emmanuel yavuze na Herbert, yes, turakorana with our embassy as usual, turebe how we can also streamline some webinars in different states. We know that United States ni hanini, and yes, that's a great idea. It's a good thought. To taking that into consideration after this session. So when to not collaborate from the background, since last year in October, tumaze amazing tuganira na Rwandans living around the world. We started in Africa, we went to Asia, Pacific, Middle East, and now we are in Americas. So ariko we know that United States of America ifite RCA iri ahantu hanini henshi, then nibyo koko bikenewe ko twagenda dukora noneho state by state with your calendars na agenda zanyu. So nta natwe tuba tuzi ko mufite akazi. That's why we said tuzajya tugendera kuri availability yanyu, kuko turi Sunday mwigomye on Sunday kuza kwitabira, ariko ni ikintu gishimishije, shows how the RCA from US bari very committed, and kandi ni ibintu bishimishije kubona. So we're going to organize sessions with our embassies. Thank you so much. So let's do another round of
maybe Sandrine. Yes, I
Yes.
think
Hari
one.
uwabajije.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, Mr. Sese, nangiye gusubiza Herbert yari yavuze ku bijyanye na
Yeah.
time to liquidate and the reason for to repurchase.
Okay.
So ku bijyanye na time to liquidate nabikomojeho yuko guhera ku iminsi yose tuba turi kwakira ubusabe bwanyu abanyamuryango cyangwa bizigamira mu kigega RNITMB fund kugeza ku wa kane. Hanyuma abo kuwa kane ibisoza kuwa kane n'uvuga ngo guhera kuwa mbere kuwa kabiri kuwa gatatu kuwa kane turakira ubusabe, hanyuma kuwa gatanu baba barimo kureba gukusanya ubwo busabe bwose. Kuwa mbere cyangwa kuwa kabiri abantu baba bamaze kwishyurwa amafaranga yabo ayo basabye. Icyo ni kimwe, ariko ku bijyanye na reasons z'umuntu impamvu babaza, hariho urumva nababwiye ko tugenzurwa na CMA, haba hari amabwiriza rero tugenderaho mu bijyanye n'imikorere yacu ya buri munsi. Hariho ibibazo bimwe na bimwe biba bigomba kubazwa, ariko nanone mu buryo bwa record tracking, kubera ko urabona ko nko kumenya ibyafasha abo dukorera bisaba kumenya amakuru atandukanye. Iyo umuntu akubajije rero ngo wenda impamvu, hari igihe impamvu uri butange ishobora kudufasha twebwe kuzamenya ngo abizigamira abenshi bafata aya mafaranga bayajyanye mu biki, bikazatuma tumenya ese abayagarura ni ababa bayajyanye mu biki. Nk'ubu twamaze kumenya yuko abantu benshi bafata amafaranga bayajyanye mu mishinga yunguka ari bo babasha kugenda bagashora bakanagarura bagakomeza gushora mu kigega ko kiba cyarabagiriye inyungu. Abandi bafata amafaranga bakongera bakagarukamo bakayagaruramo ku bwinshi, usanga ari abayafashe akabagoboka. Nko mu bihe bya COVID-19 hari abantu bafashe hafi miliyari zirengaho ebyiri zatwawe zijyanye n'abantu batandukanye bajya kubagoboka mu bihe bitandukanye. Abo ngabo rero ibihe bimaze kumera neza, abenshi bagiye bagaruka kubera ko bagiye babona akamaro k'ikigega. Nk'ayo makuru rero kumenya ngo kubera iki watse amafaranga, ntabwo twavuga ngo byakubuza kubona amafaranga yawe, ntabwo ari impamvu yakubuza kubona amafaranga yawe. Biba bidufasha twebwe gukusanya amakuru yadufasha gutanga na raporo no ku batugenzura aribo Capital Market Authority.
Okay, thank you so much, Emmanuel. Celestin, hari icyo mugiye kongeraho?
Intervention gato justement ngiye kuvuga ahangaha kuri kiriya mwari muvuze Kararo wakomeje kwifuza yuko ibi biganiro once we do this tubikora kuri maybe at a high level, maybe bataza abantu bose icyarimwe, niyo banaza, it's not everyone, but when it's specific nta kitubuza rwose kuba twakwakira n'ubusabe. If a particular RCA is organized, we can always talk to them directly if need be, in whichever setup they need. Nuko akiorganize ubwabo bwonyine, ariko while we wait for the ministry to even organize more and further, we can always work on that kugira ngo tubahe ibiganiro ku buryo bwimbitse, naho ku buryo bw'umwihariko kwa. Thank you.
Thank you, murakoze. Okay, so let's niba Noella ariko Noella byinshi yabyashyize muri chat box, niba nta intervention mushaka kugira twakomeza. Okay, all right, so we have John Sezikeye and Abdul Bigirumwami, so basabye ijambo. So let's start with John. Niyo mutkumva, the floor is yours, please.
Yes, murakoze. Nitwa John Sezikeye, nkora muri IT, ntuye muri Washington, Baltimore, Washington area, kandi ndi mu small investors. Muri iyi minsi muri financial field bivugwa cyane ni some banks that are collapsing. Hariho nk'iya yo muri California yaguye ejo bundi, hariho Swiss bank ifite ikibazo. Ngira ngo no mu Rwanda hari ikintu cyitwa CMF umwete wo mu karere ka Rusizi, naho numva ko yari ifite ibibazo bikeya. Abantu se bashora muri za institution zacu, ni gute investment zabo ziba ziri protected? Hariho kaza insurance tuba dufite, ubwo se hagize collapsing ni gute abantu babona amafaranga yabo? Ko ngewe as a small investors, loss mitigation is a very important factor for me. Murakoze.
Murakoze, John. Let's go to Abdul. Yes, Abdul Bigirumwami. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adrienne. Thanks for all the presenters. My name is Abdul Bigirumwami from Los Angeles, California. I'm in aviation sector and other things I do privately. My question I have is, this is great, very informative. Thank you for all this presentation. Question I have is, when is the system going to be digitalized? I think somebody mentioned it, where I can go in and open an account and start trading in stock on Rwanda's exchange without going through a broker.
Okay. Thank you, Abdul, for your question. Okay. Another person. Okay. Françoise Niyigena. Yes, the floor is yours, please.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for organizing this. I think it's definitely a really nice way for us to stay engaged. I was just curious. I think for me, speaking as a young person who just graduated college and very much passionate about the development of Rwanda and hoping to come back soon. Curious how, I know someone mentioned earlier that one of the big challenges is, Rwandan saving. And I feel like for me, like having learned, right now, just recently learning about investing and saving and that becoming something I'm really interested in. And I know a lot of like my other friends who are Rwandan also just finished college. They're wanting to invest and save, putting investments in Rwanda. I'm curious what initiatives are there to engage young people to talk about saving and investing. I think it was mentioned that, you could literally put in like $4 or just a few dollars. You don't need that much money. So just curious how young people are being engaged in these initiatives and what role we young people can also play to make sure that, for a country that has a large population of young people, that more young people who are, starting work or just have a little money can also start investing in our country's development. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Françoise. Which state are you from?
I'm currently in Boston.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Boston, Massachusetts. Okay, thank you very much. That's a good question. Do we have another person before we go back to give back the floor to the presenters? Okay. Atubedu Fashibi, Pierre Celestin. So we have three, 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. Oh, 3 questions, yes. Byabajijwe, so I don't know. Bisubiremo cyangwa c'est bon.
Yeah, there is one I didn't get properly from the one from John says okay.
Yes, he talks. John says he came from Washington DC.
Protection.
Yes, he talked about corruption and then how he was asking how ni gute umuntu winvestinze mu gihugu yaba protected. So how does the country mitigate against the corruption?
No, not corruption.
Protection of investments. Banks are collapsing. It's something we know already happening around the globe. Yes. Oh, I get it now. I think I.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
There are 3 of them. The first one is from Abdul about automation. We kind of mentioned it. We are in the process of automating our market and linking it to the rest of the region, East African community, Nairobi, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, even Burundi, possibly Congo when they come up with the market in South Sudan, perhaps Ethiopia when they finish establishing. So all these countries are coming up with some platforms to do their business. So like I said earlier, we don't have really any application as such from, because normally typically we'll be having an application from the time we do full automation. Hopefully before end of this year, there will be an automated way of people accessing the market, what we call DMA, what you are talking about, what we call direct market access. But again, still, yes, you know the face you see, the front end when you see stocks, yes, you see them, but there's an intermediary in the backyard whom you don't know necessarily. But again, what his question for Abdul is for him to be able to do that without having to call anyone. So that one we are not yet there, but there are processes of working on it. We are working with a few telcos to see how we can put that into action. But I'm sure there's some of our intermediaries, I will not mention who exactly. There are a few of them. I know they are working on it. Of course, I can't speak on their behalf until they launch them officially to be able to use applications to be able to, for investors to be able to invest directly soon. But of course, all that will be preceded by a full automation of our market, which is a 99% to completion. So I think Abdul, I have answered that. The question from John is basically his question is about what is going on around the globe. We are seeing some turmoil around the globe economically.
Sorry, Celestin.
Yes.
Yeah, the question is mainly, is there any kind of like insurance or what happens if you lose the money?
Okay, yeah, I was going to get to that, John. Basically, you know, yes, the question about companies or someone investing their money, and they may and the company collapses. We have what we call there is a compensation fund, but you know, for investors out there, that is a compensation fund which we fund with our different with levies, different levies that come out of the market. This is something that's set aside, like for investors, in case an intermediary fails. For example, yeah, if it's not your fault, an intermediary goes with your money, and it has happened before in America. Merrill Lynch, what all those guys have done it, some other places. We have a similar scheme across the region, even in Rwanda, we have one to protect against failures of intermediaries and who may go down with people's money. However, for investments, there is no insurance for investments. You know, when you are investing in a company, let's say Bank of Kigali, or you are buying government bonds of Rwanda, there isn't really any insurance to that as such. You are buying the full faith of the organization or the full faith of what you are buying on the basis of the information they provide. Of course, other safeguards which are in the marketplace on the structures, whereby who are protected mainly by the rules of the game which are in place. That's number one. The Capital Market Authority has its own regulations to look after, you know, transparency purposes, even the continuing existing obligations of the stock exchange. And then there are different regulators of those companies which are listed on the market, the stock exchange, or the bonds which are listed here. All that information is given because they say a protected investor is an informed investor. So everyone gets informed. At the same time, hari ibibazo bikamenyekana hakiri kare, investors get away from those instruments. If you are not doing well, people sell your shares. But the rest, we are trying to safeguard good corporate governance and accountability among listed entities. Ariko ibindi byo kuvuga about investment, there is no insurance for investment as such. You uguze imigabane ahantu, you must make sure the company is doing well. You must be aware. You get proper advice from an advisory for your intermediaries. If it's a financial advisor, I had really knows better than that because she's in that industry. If you get, we tend to advise ourselves a lot more than we listen to professionals. So now, if you want to invest, actually the first thing you must do is to really be close to your professional advisor because they know better. That's what they do for a living. They must make sure to protect their profession to give you best advice. However, insurance, unless, of course, there's some depository insurance if you're a bank, you know, domain insurance, they call for the guarantee, automobile, people who are in the business of cars. If someone has an accident and they don't find a driver, is something that there's a fund of guarantee, there's a fund which has been set up, all insurance companies chip in. That person can always be compensated because they had an accident. There are similar schemes in the banking sector. If someone is if people may be collapse, there could be such a thing. But otherwise, if you are an investor in a company, you are an investor the same way you have opened a restaurant. The only different thing is that the company is a listed company. Ariko byino were protected through information, ubona na regulations zihari na safeguards zindi ziri mu isoko, but not really that particular investment as such, unless you take an insurance of some sort somewhere. But I don't think so far we have that. Muri America, in the advanced markets, we have derivatives where you have options. You know, you can buy options, you know, the options, put options on companies, different ones. There are different schemes you can use to protect against your investment. But in these markets of ours, we have not really started doing short selling and all those kinds of sophisticated instruments. Ariko igihari ni icyo ngicyo cyo guprotekinga abantu muri ubwo buryo. Icya nyuma, it's the question from Françoise, maybe. What we do for the youth who are trying to start life. after school, mainly. Not even after school. We have started actually, different campaigns, even for the youth, how to save Gicheri, 100 francs. I could tell you one of the favorite stories I've had. There's a particular IPO. We keep having students coming to our for open house at the stock exchange, or we go on radio, we go where they live. We are doing, last week we were doing Money Week. That's a worldwide Money Week that happens every year. We have done it for the 11th time. So we call in some young people from schools, high school, universities, what we talk to them. There's a Capital Market Authority University Challenge. It's ongoing right now. They do essays, write, and so on, know how to treat money and so on, and to get involved in the capital markets industry at whichever level, professionally, or they get to learn about savings and so on. But ibyo tugenda dukorera tugenda tubafasha kugira ngo tubamenyeshe d'abord. We know they don't have money, they don't have a lot, but they can start the culture of getting to know about savings. For those who start making money, definitely have programs like that, the awareness campaigns, so that we reach out to them with RNIT, with our partners, different CMA and the central bank sometimes, and different youth fora. We are always talking to them at the Youth Connect, all these different fora where they belong to. So tugenda tubavugisha rero muri ubwo buryo mu biganiro bigiye bitandukanye dukoresha social media and so on and so forth. So I think my colleagues can maybe add something if they have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Celestin. Emmanuel or Noela, do we have any inputs to add?
And icyo nashimangira cyane cyane ni uburyo igihugu ubwacyo kiba cyita cyangwa gifite amategeko. Ndavuga ku kibazo cya mushuti wanjye byo nsozekeye, ndanamusuhuje, turaziranye cyane. Umuntu ukunda amakuru yose ajyanye n'ishoramari abakunda kumenya aho ari n'uburyo yabigiramo uruhare. Ndamushimira cyane kuri iyo ngingo, no gukunda gutora mu gihugu cye ni ingingo y'ingenzi. Ukurikije imigenzereze imikorere y'iki gihugu cyagiye mu mubare w'ibihugu byoroshya ubucuruzi kubera amwe mu mategeko y'ishoramari muri doing business report ya banki y'isi, kubera ko baragerageza mu buryo bushoboka bwose gushyiraho amategeko yatuma harengerwa umushoramari. Ibi ngibi bikaba binahura cyane cyane n'ibyo nagiye nsobanuriraho mvuga ibijyanye na investor protection, nk'uko navuze nk'urugero nko muri RNIT iterambere fund, gushyira muri kiriya kigega. Navuze uburyo bwo gushora imari, niba nkubwiye ngo inyungu iboneka nta musoro kubera ko leta iba yabisoneye, n'ubundi ntabwo ari ukubera umusoro, kuko leta iba yashyizeho ubwo buryo. Nkavuga ko inyungu iri hejuru ya 11% uyu munsi mu gihugu urimo, ndabizi ko ntaho wabona inyungu yizewe ikuganisha 11% mu byo ushoramo imari ibyo ari byo byose. Ariko nkakubwira ngo ibyo dukora byose turagenzurwa na Capital Market Authority, tukaba tubitsa muri Banki Nkuru y'u Rwanda, tukaba dufite inama y'ubutegetsi, inama y'abanyamigabane, the board of trustees, ihura ikaganira bakareba inyungu zabo, bakareba uburyo bagomba kuzirengera no kuzibungabunga. Byose bikaba bikubiye mu buryo bwose bwatuma wowe ugira amahirwe yo gushora imari, ariko umutungo wawe ukaba wizeye. Nabwiye yuko tunagenzurwa, tukaba tunakora mu buryo buri transparent, mu buryo buri mu mucyo, dutanga amaraporo bigenzuwe n'umugenzuzi mukuru w'imari ya leta ndetse n'abagenzuzi bo ku ruhande. Naguhaye urugero rw'ikigo cya PwC, ni ikigo mpuzamahanga cyatanze raporo yacu muri iki cyumweru gishize ku bijyanye n'imikorere yacu. Ni ibintu wakwizera, gusa haba hari amakuru menshi ajyanye n'ishoramari aturuka hirya no hino. Byiza no kureba ugakurikirana neza niba ibyo bintu koko biba biri mu murongo w'amategeko yemera mu gihugu cy'u Rwanda.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Urakoze Emmanuel.
Icyo nakongera kuri icyo ngicyo nuko hejuru y'ibyo byose regulator aba afite na powers z'uko yashyiraho an administrator in case bigaragaye yuko service provider afite failure arimo hejuru y'uko wenda hariyo na compensation scheme, hejuru y'uko hakorwa n'ibyo bikorwa by'ubugenzuzi bisanzwe, hejuru y'uko tubona n'izo raporo, tugomba kubona raporo za auditor, tugomba kubona raporo za board, tugomba kubona raporo za management, ariko noneho hejuru y'ibyo nanone mu gihe tubona yuko bitari kugenda neza, regulator aba afite power yuko yashyiraho administrator, ni umuntu uba appointed just to manage the business muri icyo gihe hariho ibibazo, kugira ngo harengerwe inyungu z'abo bashoramari bose bari kumwe nawe. Icyo nacyo ni kimwe muri powers CNA iba ifite ishobora kwifashisha mu gihe habayeho failure. Murakoze.
Murakoze Noella.
Nkiri kuri ibyo hari ibyo Françoise yavuze ku bijyanye na initiatives Celia yabikomojeho, Celestin yabikomojeho avuga ku bya University Challenge, uburyo tunabafasha kugira ngo batangire ba building iyo saving culture, nuko awards zose babona nyuma y'iyo competition yose ntabwo tuyibaha mu buryo bw'amafaranga, ahubwo tuyabaha mu buryo bw'amafaranga ariko mu buryo bwa investment. Ni ukuvuga baba bafite envelope, hanyuma iyo envelope bagahitamo aho bagomba kuyinvestinga, either in bonds or shares, ariko nta kindi kiba kigamijwe, ni ukugira ngo batangire ba building iyo culture. Ikindi nanone wenda dukora muri ibyo, twagiye dushishikariza through that initiative ya University Challenge yuko habaho investment clubs. Investment clubs zigiye zibaho mu ma university iyo atandukanye, aho batera basevinga igiceri ku munsi, igiceri cy'ijana, and you have seen a tremendous change muri ibyo ngibyo. One of the success stories tufite nuko investment club ya mbere yatangiye muri one of the universities here, yaje kuvamo a microfinance, which is twabonye ko ari ikintu cyiza, twakomeje no kugira ngo tubashishikarize, tukabajyanira n'abo bajyanama. Uyu munsi bakoze ibimina byinshi, uyu munsi a good number of ibimina dufite hano mu gihugu basigaye binvestinga, wenda ibyo nabyo Masantura ntiyabonye akanya ko kubivuga, ariko urebye umubare w'ibimina bafite in their books nk'aba investors ari bo, cyangwa se na Aguka Fund cyangwa se n'abandi ba investors, urabona ko youth bari kugenda barushaho kubyitabira.
Murakoze Noella. Tukiri kuri icyo, ndumva na Celestin yabivuzeho gato, ndetse muri izo investment clubs murabona byashoboka no muri RCA for example, abantu bishyize hamwe nabo babikora, ari ikintu bategura hakaba nka suivi mu Rwanda, nabo babibafashamo. Thank you.
I think this is possible. Njye numva hari abantu benshi muri diaspora bagiye baza muri iki gihe, RCA zitandukanye. There were a few attempts here and there to do collective investment schemes muri housing. Abantu kenshi bakunda kujya mu bintu bumva cyangwa byoroshye, housing for example, real estate and so on. So I think those can be one of those, but they could also be managed schemes bashobora kugenderamo. A real estate project, you don't have to own umuryango. Ubu ngubu ni nabyo binagezweho akenshi, ntabwo ari ngombwa kugira umuryango nyabwo kugira ngo investing muri real estate. You can buy units, you can buy shares in a product. Muri Shike, we have had some good investment projects here in Kigali that have gone very well, very well. All over the place, people get together and they invest like that. But there is definitely possibilities. This our follow up. If maybe through your Sandrine, you can dufasha If there are people who have ideas, we can be able to support them and help them in working on similar schemes where possible. Among our people in the diaspora, in the RCs, there are some professionals, there are investors already investing here, and there are even others, who can advise us also on how best to do that. But we have an idea already. A few projects we are thinking about to spur, diaspora investments into the country, either through investment clubs, or there are a few which are already there, or through other schemes that are collective or individual. But collective is, I always prefer that. I like the collectiveness of some of the people, like-minded. They can achieve a lot if people get together. So I think that nakonashaka kongeraho gatoya.
Thank you so much. Yes, nk'uko mubivuze nibyo tusigaye tubona abanyarwanda benshi baza, benshi muri ministry tubona bainvestinga muri real estate, ariko hari n'abandi ubona baza bakikorera individual investments. Kandi natwe it's very important to make follow-ups. Nk'uko mubivuze, icyo twakirebaho niba hari vraiment abantu babyenteresa cyangwa niyo opportunity inagaragaye, I believe yuko benshi joining. So ihari ya investment, collective investment scheme or investment clubs. Yeah, I will be happy to work with you on that. Thank you. Ndabona amasaha yatugeranye tugana ku musozo. Do we have last questions or interventions? Oh yes, I think. Yes, please.
Yeah, quick question. My name is Eve. I live in Idaho. I was trying to get an idea if there's any way on the private sector to invest. How can we verify and then make sure the information is being shared by some of the company, they are right informations, and then for that reason, because sometimes people, or we trust our government, the system is in place, is really great, and then we go by that. And then if you're in companies in Rwanda and say, hey, here we register with the Rwandese Board of Business, and then we tend to trust that and then invest our money, and then later on don't get it. So there's any system in place where we can, if any company approach individuals and then propose them that, and we can vet it and then see the safety net of that company. And the other question is, do you guys interested in informing or make run this interest in college funds? That's also the good opportunity as here when we're having kids, and then you encourage your parents or anybody to put some money away for a little bit in the long terms, and then see if that it may be a great thing. Maybe diaspora, you may want to put 100, 200 for some kids, offering them like a saving accounts or college accounts. There is any such thing?
Thanks, Eve, from Idaho. We have also Solange in the chat box, also who said that you have many potential investors. So thank you very much, who would be interested to invest in a country. So in real estate or other investment, who can I connect with that individual? I think some of those questions, they tackle of it, ariko mwakongera ukayigisubiza. And also, yeah, you just mentioned college savings. Yes. And also, Gray, do we know when the next session will be scheduled? Okay. All right. Yes, we can schedule that together. No problem. If we don't have another person, we can, yes, give back the floor to Pierre Celestin. Yeah, thank you.
The first one, there's one question from Eve immediately, talking about people investments. You can invest, of course, in different things you want to invest in. Of course, the first thing, government, is you trust government. Everyone trusts government. But now when it comes down to individual companies, if I heard you very well, you are mentioning of companies that are not public companies necessarily, right? If
correct, the private sector, like gas companies, and then yes.
I see. So those are companies which are not, we are talking about the space of PE, private equity or venture capital or those types of companies, whereby these companies are not really necessarily, they are registered, they do business, but you don't have visibility. You can't really confirm 100% if what they are saying is true. You know, so maybe what I can say to you about that, you know, that in most of the time is their word against yours. You see what I mean? But now, since we have realized that actually in the marketplace, I think, you know, our market, I didn't mention how many companies you have listed. You have 10 companies. They are all blue chip companies, and they are all listed on the main market segment of the stock exchange. And most of the companies listed here, they can list bashobora no kulistinga na New York cyangwa n'ahandi hose kubera ko they are big companies. Small cap, of course, you just kuvuga muri America zaba ari small cap maybe, but ariko bafite ibyangombwa byose rwose bishobora kuba baristinga no mu bindi bihugu byateye imbere. Kubera standards, they are using really proper standards and all of that. But now, because we know the reality of our own countries and our own country, especially, so the Ambuga countries, so I was using my other hats. You know, in Rwanda, most of our businesses, 90% is SME based, cyangwa startups. I didn't mention something about the 10 companies I told you now. They make up $3.7 billion in terms of market capitalization. If you had fixed income, it's almost $5 billion, which is close to almost like 50% of GDP. No, companies in here, you know, the remaining are small and medium enterprises. However, those companies, many of them are growth companies. They really make good money, but the issues of governance, accountability, and all that are there. Icyo dukora rero kugira ngo tube twafasha nka investors, icyo twakoze muri iki gihe, it's a project we have created, twagerageje gushyiraho uburyo twafasha small cap companies in our own context in Rwanda, small medium enterprise companies cyangwa se startups zishobora kuba zafashwa kugira ngo nazo zibe zabasha kuresha abageni, so that they can be able to attract investment because they can grow, they can do well like any other companies, but they have problems of funding and so on. So what we have done, we've created a market segment for small and medium enterprises. But that was done in 2018. We realized that these companies, really, it's not even about money. It's about even how they are structured. It's about how they manage their businesses. It's about sustainability. It's about so many other things. Company by company. So no, to creating another project around that to support those companies to be investor ready. That project we created with our partner institutions, CMM, Minecofin, and abandi bose dukorana abafatanyabikorwa RDB, PSF, and Minicom, creating a project called the Capital Market Investment Clinic. The same way you talk about a clinic, we believe that everyone needs a health check. Ronaldo LeBron, when he's going to the pitch, they're always taking their pool to make sure these guys are safe. You know, they are healthy enough. So we created a project like that to make sure that we look at the health of different companies at whichever stage they are at in life. Okay, especially small medium enterprises or startups, you know, which are really looking for guidance or they are looking to raise money. So now what we have done with that project, we look at them, we diagnose them, we realize what kind of issues they have to cover as if they are going to list. Then after doing that, we advise them on how to improve their books, improve all the whole 9 yards, the value chain of what they are doing, so that we cleaning out our pitch deck. The moment you put our stamp of proof on those companies, it's as good as they are going to list, almost. You understand? What they are going to do with if they need that kind of money. So there are different kind of places where people are doing incubation. There are different incubators. Nosken, they have a target of 1,000 companies. We have a PSF 250. You know, we have a JICA, that's a Japanese cooperation agency. Again, the fashion companies normally PSF, these are niche. We have market, stock exchange, capital market industry. We are creating the section kugira ngo fashion companies that kind of fear you might have, you as an investor who's coming from outside who's not already a member or a shareholder of those companies to see what we can do. It can be debt, debt, or they can ask for equity. We have now graduated the first cohort of companies of 12. 3 of them have been profiled. As far as profiling, I think in December. 3 of them. 1 of them already raised 10-year money through issuing a corporate bond. It's an SME. Back was a corporate bond of 10 years. That thing is paying 13.7% on to the investors. Confidence even if it's not a government company, even if it's a small medium enterprise, it is before they came to the market. That kind of ecosystem, not just their own internal auditors, not the ecosystem, yeah, legal advisory, legal due diligence, financial, and also accounts. Kugira ngo to advising how best to attract investors, whether it's investors going to lend them money or who are going to buy equity into those companies. So reliable information, you can get it kubera ko haba ibyo byanyuzwe muri ubwo bugenzuzi bwose tuba twabakoreye tukabakompanya muri iki gikorwa nyine kugira ngo babashe kuba bafasha abantu. If you need more information, definitely you can contact us further from this, and we can give you more information on that, those types of companies or those types of opportunities that arise in the country. There are some other people who are doing that, but since we do it from the marketplace, we tend to have more credibility into that. And in general, people, there are also some people who are bad, naturally, who raise money for ill intentions. So you don't want to be ruled into those, but at least that part we are covering for now, and we have a second cohort ongoing right now. Thank you.
Thank you much.
Thank you very much, Celesta. Yes, in the chat box we have many people who are appreciating about this session, and that they are even acquiring, they are requesting if we can have more. Some of them also, John, thank you very much for indicating that you're interested to be part of this collective investment club or scheme. And you had put your contacts, so we took the information. Hari Virgil Taisire, who also, many thanks for arranging this session. Can you also talk about the taxation of potential income made from these instruments? The US tax is based on worldwide income of US residents. Are these going to be subject to double taxation? Is Rwanda obligated to report these accounts to US tax system? And also, I would like to invite Solange. Maybe you may clarify what you didn't understand or hear well, because you say that many people speak in Rwanda. On your side, maybe if there is any clarification you would like to get from our panelists, please feel free to speak it out. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I just have some friends and my husband, I'm Rwandese, but they're not, they don't speak Kinyarwanda. So some of the discussion I mixed with English and Kinyarwanda, so it was hard for them to follow. I had to translate.
Okay.
Yes, sorry for that. There are also others who are requesting to be heard, to hear Kinyarwanda a bit. We try to mix as much as we could. If you're with someone who doesn't understand either one, please help us. But so there are a few we missed. There's one question about someone who asked about the college funds. Yeah. There are different schemes, which are done in this market. By the way, this could be food for thought for Masantura and his team. We've discussed at one point. There are different schemes in Rwanda today which cater for college funds, for education, actually, where you can invest in a different insurance scheme, for example, and they save for you for the future of your children, for sure. They are there. But there's also talk of creating different funds within the investment community here, targeting actually similar schemes that can allow people to save for their children for school. As for the tax system, as far as I know, we do not have any DTA signed with the United States of America. Actually, maybe I could mention something that we've now been working on as a country. to promote Rwanda as an international financial center. It's something called Kigali International Financial Center, being promoted by an institution like RDB, but that's like a similar institution as RDB, but RDB for finance. So it's promoting Rwanda to be a center of investments and the financial services, either for people to come invest in Rwanda or through Rwanda for the rest of the region. What they have been doing, we've been doing with this, we signed with different countries cooperation agreements and double taxation, non-double taxation agreements with different countries. The US is not one of them. However, if a taxpayer, if I remember, back in the day, I used to live in that country. If you are filing for your tax returns, you are the one who declares what you owe, what you have earned outside of America, if you are an American citizen or a resident, like that. So I think those go to you as an individual or a business owner if you have any income outside of the United States of America. However, I don't think our revenue authority volunteers to give information outside unless the information is asked by different authorities if they suspect you to be doing something. So I think maybe that's where you can judge and find where you fall. Otherwise, we do not have that. The DTA is non-existent, but the reporting can happen if the government of the United States requests for that. I've even seen that in banks. I think nowadays, before you open a bank of an American citizen, there are some issues that they must ask you to make sure that they are in compliance with anti-money laundering and terrorism finance and also taxation where necessary. But as far as we are concerned, we don't have any DTA with the US. Hopefully we'll have one day, so that income generated from Rwanda may not be taxed double, in that way. So I think that's what I thought I had forgotten. Unless Noela or Masutu has anything else to add on that.
Maybe something that I can add to that with this Kigali Financial Center, International Financial Center, there are other service providers that have come up that could help you in structuring how you can deal with the tax issues. Among them, we have what we call now service providers that are called trust and company service providers, who are well conversant with those kind of issues, and they will always find a way of helping you with that. Of course, nowadays all banks have to comply with the tax authorities of US. They need, although I've not seen as of today, we have not received any request yet requesting for taxpayers information, and if I say that, it's because I'm in the committee that is working on those issues, and so far the tax authority have not yet received. But as we are moving toward becoming a financial center, definitely an interest will increase in getting information from potential US citizens that are investing in Rwanda. But there are structures that and service providers that are there to help you to deal with that. And those ones are being now we have a number of them that have already been licensed. They are being licensed by the central bank, DNR. They will be able to advise once you have invested. But as of today, it's not a problem that we see, although maybe it can change over time. Maybe something else that people have been asking with regards to college fund. As you know, we have not only collective investment schemes, but we have also private pensions. I've seen that some of those service providers are offering such kind of products. a long-term product that could help you deal with those kind of investments. So you can, I don't know if I think that they will always help you in getting the contacts should you need them. But what I can say that even those service providers, what you can't find on our website, and fund managers can do all types of investment depending on your own aspirations. So what they do, they look at your own aspirations. You do not need necessarily to go through a structured fund that is called a college fund or something like that. But what they do, they assess your aspirations and what you want to do, and they help you to manage your portfolio accordingly. So I think if you go through them, you will be able to get an appropriate service according to your needs. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Noella. So we are coming to the end of our session, but we have Mr. Musi. We would like to ask you to be brief quickly, so before we close this session, and then, yes, thank you so much. Musi, the floor is yours.
Hey, greetings, guys. I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys for organizing this kind of events. I think they're very helpful and also informative to us who live outside Rwanda. Mine is really not it's not a question. I think I've kind of followed the discussion, and I wanted to sort of add on to what Celestine spoke about in terms of, I think maybe, you know, the tax. Now this is now on the taxable income for those who live abroad. I mean, like I live in SA, and I know that there is a taxable, you know, if I want to send the money to Rwanda, for example, there's a bracket I must be, there's a bracket we have to bind to. It's 1 million. We can't go beyond 1 million rand, for example. That's an annual taxable income. I don't know about the USA, but maybe it'll be. It's nice to know what is the taxable income for a citizen of SA or a citizen of USA, so that I think you work around that, so that you avoid penalties. You know, like this is now when you're doing filing, you avoid those kind of penalties. You know, I think it will be best. That's just to add on to what Celestine spoke about earlier on. I think for those who live abroad, we can always find out what non-taxable brackets, you know, that our countries that offer, so that you sort of stick to those brackets, so that you avoid being double taxed, if that makes sense. That was just an additional kind of thought to what Celestina was trying to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Musi, for your intervention. Okay, so I think, yes, we are putting out there some websites, you know, information. Some of you are requesting also these the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation. So we'll be happy to share them to you. So we'll share this to our embassy. Yes, so, and also for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we'll keep working with you, with the stakeholders. Feel free if you need a special session from your state, or as Celeste mentioned, so you can also call them directly if you have like a specific question, or they'll be happy to answer you. Turabashimiye cyane muri gahunda twari turimo. Honorable Ambassador yakomeje mu zindi gahunda, ariko turamushimiye ko yari yabayanye natwe from the beginning. Thank you very much, our dear colleagues, Francis, n'abandi dear community members of United States of America. Thank you very much, CEO Celeste Rwabukumba, CEO of Rwanda Stock Exchange. And thank you very much, Noella from Capital Market Authority. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Masantura from RNIT. Nange ndabashimiye, hari n'abandi ba tekinisiye inyuma rwose ba Magnifique, n'abandi rwose turabashimiye, twateguranye iki gikorwa. Let's keep in touch. Kandi turabona ko hari n'abashaka izi collective investment schemes. All we need ni ibingibi twifuza rwose ko muduha n'ama ideas na how we can all continue to work together. Nkuko bababwiye follow ups zizahari, abashaka gukomeza gushora imari kuinvestinga, ntimugire ikibazo rwose. Amafaranga yanyu azaba protected, kandi hari abajyanama benshi bahari mu gihugu cyo gukomeza kubafasha. So mubitwemereye twasoza inama, and tubashimira cyane umwanya mwaduhaye. Thank you so much and have a good evening or good afternoon.
Guys. All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
udutahirize bo mu Rwagasabo.
Turabatashye. Oh, thank you so much, Manzi Lawrence. Namwibagiwe our colleague. Thank you for being with us. N'abandi bose twari turi kumwe from the embassy. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yes, and Vital, Karangwa, Seti Solomon. I didn't mention you all, but thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Francis, yes, and Namuvose. Yeah, have a great afternoon. Good Sunday.